Okay, here's question 25 on the higher calculator paper. This is the last question on the paper, and quite a challenging question, but it's the last question on the paper, and for those people aiming for an A or A star, you need to try to get as many of the 5 marks from this question as possible. So let's read the question. Here are two triangles, T1 and T2. The lengths of the sides are in centimeters, so everything's in centimeters. The area of triangle T1 is equal to the area of triangle T2, so the area of both these triangles is exactly the same. Work out the value of x, giving your answer in the form a plus root b, where a and b are integers, where a and b are whole numbers. Okay. So, having a glance at both of the triangles, this is a right angle triangle. This here is going to be an isosceles triangle because that's x and x, right? We have an angle, but we don't know what the height of this triangle is. We know the base is x. In this case, we know the base is x minus 2 and the height is x plus 1. So, I need to think about the formulas for working out the area of a triangle. And one of the things that comes to mind, going to the formula sheet, on the formula sheet, there's a formula here for the area of a triangle. The area of a triangle is half AB sine C. A and B are the sides on either side of the angle. So if I go back here, right, I know the two sides on either side of the angle are x, and the angle between them is 30. So I'm going to use that formula. So area of T1, that's going to be a half x, well, times x times x. So a half x times x, so a half AB times sine of the angle between them. And the angle between them is 30 degrees. Okay, so that's a half AB sine C. Right, that's the angle between them, and that's the two sides. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out what sine of 30 is. So sine 30, close the brackets, is 0.5. And a half at the front there, that's 0.5 as well. So a half times a half, that's 0.25, which is a quarter. So I'm going to shorten this by writing a quarter, and x times x is x squared. So that's the area of T1. I'm going to now work out the area of T2. Now, T2 is a standard triangle. I know its height and its base. It's a right angle triangle. So the area of triangle is a half times base times height. Okay, so area of T2 is going to be a half times the base, which is x minus 2, times the height, which is x plus 1. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to multiply those two brackets together. I'm going to multiply them together, and I get x times x is x squared. 2 or minus 2 times x is minus 2x. Then x times 1 is plus 1x, and minus 2 times plus 1 is minus 2. So check that over again. If you use the box method, you could go off to one side and work it out using that. Alternatively, just follow what I've done there and make sure you do understand it. I'm going to tidy that up. I'm going to simplify the bits in the middle because I have minus 2x and positive 1x. So tidying that up, that's x squared minus x minus 2. Alright, so that's my area for T2. And one of the things that they've told us in the question is that the areas of both these triangles are equal. So I'm going to write that down here. I'm going to write down the fact that a quarter x squared, the area of T1, is going to be equal to this here, a half of x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, and now for pretty much the rest of this question, I'm going to solve that equation. I'm going to try to work that out. So I need first of all to get rid of these fractions. And in order to get rid of a quarter, I need to times by 4. And if I times that by 4, I'll get 2. So I'm going to times both sides by 4. So a quarter x squared times 4 is just going to be x squared. And a half times 4 is 2, so that's going to be 2 times x squared minus x minus 2. I'll multiply out the brackets on the right hand side, so I'll get 2x squared minus 2x minus 4, and then I'm going to bring everything over to the right hand side. So I'm going to take that x squared across to this side where it becomes minus x squared. So 2x squared take away x squared is just going to be x squared minus 2x minus 4. And now I'm just going to swap sides so I could see it better. I could see it as normal. So I'll have x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. That's my standard quadratic equation which I want to solve. I'm going to move this up a bit because I'll need to use the space further down. Okay, so I need to solve this particular equation. If I look at it, I can't factorize it, or it doesn't factorize well, because to get 4 I need 1 and 4, or 2 and 2, and those can't combine to give me that minus 2 in the center. So I am going to have to end up using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula, again, going back to the formula sheet, it's on the formula sheet here. Now, you don't need to remember this, although it would be very useful if you did, but here's the quadratic formula. I've got a, b, and c. A is the number in front of x squared, b is the number in front of x, and c is the number on its own. And here's my quadratic formula, which I'm going to use. Okay, so I've written that down. I need to put down what a, b, and c all are. And I know that the quadratic formula, copying it from the formula sheet, is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all that over 2a. Okay, so a is 1, b is minus 2, and c is minus 4. I'm going to stick those into the quadratic formula. And what I get from that is that x is going to be equal to minus 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared, and minus 2 squared is going to be 4, minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is minus 4, and all of that divided by 2a, 2 times 1. Okay, so minus minus is a plus, so that's 2, plus or minus the square root of 4. Now, 1 times 4 is 4, times 4 is 16, so I'm going to have 16 there, and a minus times a minus is a plus, and that's all over 2. Okay, taking that further forward, I'm actually going to work it out on this side because I'm going to run out of space in a bit. So I have 2 plus or minus the square root of 20 all over 2. I'm going to, on this side, I'm just going to put down that the fact that the square root of 20 is the same as the square root of 4 times 5. And if I split that up, that's the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. That's going to be 2 root 5. That is going to be particularly helpful because this expression here, I could replace the root 20 with 2 root 5, and then I'm dividing all of that by 2. Once I do divide it all by 2, 2 into 2 is 1, plus or minus. 2 goes into that 2 once, 1 root 5. Now I didn't need to put that 1 there, but I put it so that you could see what's happening. And now 1 plus root 5 or 1 minus root 5. Now I think 1 minus root 5 is going to be a negative number. Let's just check that. 1 minus the square root of 5 equals, yeah, that's a negative number. Now the answer we get for this is the length of x. right? And x can't be negative. So in this case here, x is going to be equal to 1 plus the square root of 5. We're going to ignore the minus 1. So all I'm going to put in my answer space is 1 plus root 5. Now this is a particularly long question, right? And the maths is not phenomenally complicated, but you do need to actually go all the way through. And for especially people wanting to get an A star, you need to be able to pick up marks at this end of the paper, especially in questions like this. Go through this a couple of times, make sure you know and understand how to do it, make sure you can get full marks in it.